What's up, family? How are you guys doing? I know I have not been on here for a while, so let me just start by saying Happy New Year to all of you in my community. I'm sorry I have not been on. Sorry, but not sorry, right? I'm sorry I haven't been on because I shouldn't really leave you guys hanging, but not sorry because I can't stress it enough. Some of the information that I'm seeing, some of the experiences I'm having online is so disheartening, and it makes you not even want to be a part of this community. And I don't mean that to be mean. I'm just being honest with you all. Today we're going to talk about the University of Alabama basketball. Well, I guess now the ex basketball player who is now charged with capital murder in the shooting death of a young woman named Jamia Harris. I want you all to be acquainted with the story for a number of reasons. Let me go ahead and put Jamia up on the screen to show her some love and some respect. This is Jamia Harris. She was a 23-year-old woman, a mother of a 5-year-old son, who went to a part of Alabama. She's from Birmingham. I can't remember the city she went to, but nonetheless, her cousin was a student at the University of Alabama, and she and her boyfriend allegedly got into the car to drive over to where her cousin is at. While at the university, she engaged with this one guy who is believed to be the shooter, the killer, and he was making advances toward her, allegedly, according to her mother's story. And she turned down the advances of this one guy. An altercation, or as the police would say in the articles, a minor altercation occurred between Jamia, allegedly her boyfriend, and these guys. I guess the guys got mad and fired shots into the car, killing Jamia. They're being charged with capital murder because the victim, Jamia, who is now deceased, was in the car. Now, I don't know all the details to the story. I'm going to give you guys what I know based on what is out there, and you all can do your own research. And then we're going to have a conversation about the R&R. So I'm not going to tell you what R&R is right now, but you guys know once I tell you what R&R is, you're going to be able to relate to it. Let me put the basketball player on the screen because I think it's important for you to know who the basketball player is. Because in the blink of an eye, your life can be messed up, screwed up. One bad decision, and that's it. This is the basketball player. His name is Darius Miles. Darius Miles is 21 years old. He is a junior. Oh, I don't know if I could say he is because he's been kicked out of school, but he's a junior at the University of Alabama. He's a basketball player. He's originally from Washington, D.C. He is the person, according to court documents, he is the person believed to have passed the gun to Michael Davis. Michael Davis is the person who is believed to have shot and killed this young lady. He's the one with the tattoo on his neck that says Buzz with the wild hair. Well, they both have wild hair, but you know what I mean. He is believed to have fired the shot into the car that killed this young lady. Now, here's the thing: minor altercation. A minor altercation. According to her mother, the these guys were trying to kick it to her. I'm gonna use my language, right? Trying to kick it to her, and she turned down their advances. Guys get mad, fire shots into the car. Now I know a lot of women are going to be able to relate to this, right? A lot of women are going to be able to relate to this because I talked to this about this a number of times. How nowadays is a little bit different than how it was when I was growing up. Just a little bit different. Now, men, when I was growing up, if they made an advancement towards you and you turned it down, you can get a bottle thrown at you. You might be called some derogatory names. You might, get some trash thrown at you. They might harass you, whatever the case is. But back in the days, that's the extent that it would go. Now, you don't know the length that somebody is willing to go when they feel R&R, right? Well, I would say DNR, disrespected and rejected. Disrespected and rejected, because men need the R&R, the respect, and they don't like to be rejected. And their emotions go all over the place. And I know a lot of people talk about us and our emotions, meaning women and our emotions, but men are emotional beings too. Here it is, a young lady is out with her boyfriend on the strip in Alabama. Now, the strip is believed to be one of those spots, like the nightlife spot where you go to eat, you go to party, whatever the case is, the nightlife spot. She's at the strip with her boyfriend, when these two guys allegedly advance at them. 1:45 in the morning, 1:45 in the morning, because they have not been successful at trying to get this young lady's attention. They fire shots into the car, killing her. A Birmingham woman, a mother of a 5-year-old child, somebody who was actually with her boyfriend at the time of the killing. Now, I don't want to make any speculations, but I'm going to speculate. Okay. Here it is. She's with her boyfriend. Allegedly, these two young men make advances toward her. In return, she turns down their advances and shots fired. Now, here's my speculation. First of all, I don't know what's going to be in the news, right? I don't know what they said in the court documents. I want to be able to put that out there. This is my opinion. I don't know any of that stuff, but here's what I think. Let me say this. You can't go hollering at somebody's woman, number one, especially when he's around. Now, I'm not saying that this happened. I'm just thinking, because that's what we're going to do tonight. We're just going to think about this, because we're going to learn a lesson. You just can't go hollering at somebody's woman, especially when a man is around. I believe she turned down the advances. I really do believe that. I also believe some words were probably exchanged between the men, her boyfriend and the two guys. Disrespected and rejected. The two worst formulas for a young man or young men in their 20s. The two worst formulas: disrespected and rejected. They were rejected by her. Her boyfriend basically probably let them know he's not the one. Go ahead with that. Go over there somewhere. So they felt disrespected. And as a result, the basketball player, let me put him back on the screen, allegedly, the basketball player passed the gun to the guy who has a tattoo on his neck. This guy here passes the gun to this man right here, who pulls the trigger. Took this young lady's life. Here's what they didn't know. They didn't know that her boyfriend was armed. They didn't know that her boyfriend was going to return some fire. And he did. He did. Now, it didn't happen on the strip. It happened off of the strip. The altercation happened on the strip. And apparently the shooting happened just a block or two, or whatever the case is, away from the strip. He pulls out his gun and he starts to fire back, striking one of the shooters, who then goes to the hospital for care of his non-life-threatening injury, and hence the police picked him up. Now, y'all know damn well it can't be no reports of a shooting. You disappear, because the boyfriend apparently was driving around trying to look for some help, and he spotted the police officers and let them know what happened, letting them know that he returned fire in self-defense, and he believed he struck one of the shooters. Now, you know, when you say some stuff like that, see, people always think that they're smarter than law enforcement. I mean, some of us are smarter than law enforcement, because what I be seeing nowadays with law enforcement, I'm like, I don't know what the hell y'all doing. Y'all tussling on the floor with people. Y'all letting, that's a whole nother conversation. But law enforcement, some of us are smarter than some law enforcement officers, right? But what I'm trying to say is, when you have ballistics, when you have forensics, when you have all the necessary tools you need to track somebody, going to the hospital with the injury is the worst place you can go, because you're going to get tracked, especially if there's a report of shooting. You're going to get tracked. And that's how they were tracked. They was tracked down, they were found, they were arrested. Now the basketball player on TV crying to his mama. His daddy on social media, his daddy's believed to be a basketball coach, on social media asking for all their friends and family to show up in Alabama with some money. With some money, right? Obviously, going to try to bail him out. He maintains his innocence and say it wasn't him, but allegedly in a police report, he admitted to passing the gun to the shooter, the one with the tattoo on his neck. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk, y'all. Let's talk. What the hell is going on? This is What the F Wednesdays. What the F is going on in our community? What's going on in our community? See, something has got to click where we're noticing that we are on a bad path. It is getting out of control. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. This was an unnecessary killing. A lot of them are, but this was unnecessary. What is going on when you cannot sustain rejection? What is going on with people's mental when someone's no gets you so angry that you feel the need to pull out a firearm and fire shots and kill whomever catches a bullet? And that's what I mean when I say whomever catches a bullet, because when y'all just shooting so freely in the street, it may not even have been your intended target that got that bullet. It could have been a passerby. It can be a child. It could be an elderly person. Anybody can get that bullet. What is going on in our community when we don't even care anymore about life? And I always tell people, you may think you are crazy, so to speak, right? Because I don't want y'all to all come at me because I'm using the word crazy. You know how y'all can be. But you may think you crazy, but there's always going to be somebody who's crazier than you're behind. You may think you big, bad, and armed, but you don't know who you rolling up on that's armed as well and faster than what you are. What is going on in this community? Now, I know that young men have a lot of hormones raging when they're 20, 21, 22, 23. The hormones are out of control. I know that. I know that to be true. But what is going on where our young men cannot sustain rejection? What is going on? What are we doing? Because really think about this. This is a college student in his junior year, probably even on a basketball scholarship. This is a student who, in a blink of an eye, threw his whole life away. Threw his whole life away in a blink of an eye. And you know, the truth is, many of our young men and women are not thinking. They're not thinking. Many of them are throwing their lives away. Your kids, my kids, your nephews and nieces, my nephews and nieces, everybody's included. Everybody's included. Not thinking. We always want to talk about women, men. It's all of us. It's all of us. People are angry. And I need to understand why. I mean, I don't know what you all have been witnessing and how y'all feel. Y'all could talk to me. Tell me how you feel. But I want to understand what has been happening within the last 3 to 5 years. People are losing their minds, and it is getting worse. Y'all heard about the 6-year-old, right, that shot the teacher in the classroom. The 6-year-old, if you haven't heard about it, I'm not going to get into that story, but this is an example of what I'm talking about. The 6-year-old who brought a gun to school and I guess got into it with his first grade, second grade, whatever grade he was in, teacher, and pulled out a 9mm, his mama's 9mm, and shot that teacher. He was upset. He was upset. So this is just not 20-something-year-olds. Babies. Babies are also losing their minds. Right? What is happening? What is happening? I don't know about you all. Let me tell y'all something. And then I'm out because I ain't staying on here late. I can't stay on here late because I just really don't got the time for this anymore, to tell you the truth. And the reason why I say I don't have the time for this anymore is because I'm too busy scratching my head like, what has to be done in our community in order for us to get ahead of this? What has to be done? We can't keep talking. We can't keep having speaking engagements. We can't keep preaching to the choir, right? We can't keep doing this and we're not getting the results we need. I don't know about you all, but I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of, I'm just being honest with y'all. I'm tired of educating. I'm tired of having people sit back and think, because it seems like nothing is working. Nothing is working. And it's getting worse, and no one cares anymore. We know all the things that impact our community. We know poverty will make you crazy. We know the music that we listen to will make you crazy. We know the food that we eat will make us crazy. We know all these things. We know that racism will make us crazy. We know all of these things. We know that a lack of opportunity will make us crazy. We know all those answers. But something is not clicking. We can say these things over and over again, but why is it that once again a beautiful young woman has lost her life and 2 young men, in a different sense, has lost their lives too? They're alive, but they lost their life. Something is not clicking. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm so tired of the conversations where us blaming. And I'm not saying that these things are not true, but I'm saying we know these things are true. And now what? And now what? Because those things aren't going to change. We got to change. We got to be the ones to change. A 23-year-old lost her life. Once again, another young child, a male child at that, a 5-year-old, left without his mother. When is it going to start clicking? When is this going to change in our community? When are we going to get tired of the same nonsense over and over and over again? When do we get tired? I'm tired. I'm tired. Yes, Ribbon, make it make sense. Keish, yes. Keish says, is it the video games? But Keish, what I'm saying to you is that's another layer, right? We have so many different layers that might be contributing to us losing our minds, but we know all of these things. So the question is, what are we going to do? Because we can't keep getting on here every night and acting like it's all of them and none of us. We are all a part of this. We are all connected. What are we going to do? I don't know about you all, but hearing this story, I sat back and I was like, wow, look at how many lives down the toilet. A basketball player, life gone. College student, life gone. I don't know what the 20-year-old was doing in his life. I can't tell you what he was doing in his life, but whatever he was doing in his life, he ain't gonna be doing that with his life no more. The 23-year-old gone. And even though the boyfriend may be alive, even though the cousin may be alive, they have to have forever in their mind that their cousin, their girl, was murdered. And it was nothing they can do to save her life. There was nothing they can do to save her life. There was nothing, absolutely nothing they can do to save her life. When does that click for us? When does it click for us? When do we start to step back and say, damn, we're losing? I don't know about you all. I can only talk about myself. But I do wake up like, damn, we losing. Damn, another one? Another death? Another shooting? Damn, he was mad over fries? He's dead? Oh, damn, he was mad over tacos? He's dead? This is crazy. Crazy. Who thinks, oh, well, tonight my daughter's not going to come back home. My daughter's going to die. No one thinks that. No one thinks that, but that is the reality. What are we saying to our children? What are we saying to our children? Not only to our women, but to our men as well. Let me tell y'all a story. I'm going to let you in on a little something, something, something. A little something, something, okay? So, I went out recently with one of my girlfriends. Every now and then we have girls' night out. And I keep a ghost number. Now, I don't know if you all know what a ghost number is. And ladies, if you don't know what a ghost number is, I think I need to start paying attention. You can get ghost numbers anywhere. You can get them on apps. You can get them through Google Voice. You can get ghost telephone numbers anywhere. That they're not real numbers, right? You can get them anywhere. You can call from a ghost number too. We all know this, right? This is not a new trick, right? This is just critical thinking. It's not a new trick. So I go out, and this one guy wouldn't leave us alone. Would not leave us. You know, ladies and fellas, just listen for a second, right? Fellas, just listen for a second. Ladies, when you go out and when a guy doesn't leave you alone, they they hover around you all night. They want to buy you a drink. You can turn down a drink. They want to get you something. If you turn down a drink, they still stay in their vicinity. They still talking to you, engaging with you, right? So I'm out. My girlfriend and I, we chit-chatted, and this one guy comes over. He's the only person in the place of a backpack on. Kind of weird, right? He comes over. He's engaging with us. We're laughing, we're talking, and he's just constantly just engaging with us. So we're just chilling for a moment. My girlfriend's like, oh my God, she's making a face. I was like, you better stop on faces. Don't do nothing to trigger the brother. Right? She starts laughing. I said, I'm serious. Don't do nothing to trigger the brother. Just laugh. Just have a good old time. Don't try to piss this person off, because how the world is going right now, we might lose our lives in this motherfucking restaurant. You understand what I'm trying to say? Just laugh and enjoy. She was like, you right. So as the night is winding down, and I text my babe, I'm like, baby, come pick me up now. So I get dropped off and picked up, spoiled like that. I like that. Guy's there. He's like, can I get your number? Can I get your number? Can I get your number? Can I get? So I said, here, give me your phone. And I put my ghost number in the phone. He was like, all right, I'm going to call you. He was so happy he got my number, my ghost number. He was so happy. I'm going to call you. So, of course, I did tell my partner what happened in the conversation. Was having a conversation. I told what happened. So he's like, do you and your girlfriend give out your numbers every time you go out? I said, what are you talking about? I said, let me tell you something. Let me make something very clear. I ain't say it like that, y'all. Sometimes ladies, we be puffing up like how we be talking, right? I ain't say all of that. But I said that, but not like that. And I said to him, let me tell you something. My goal is to get back home safely. That is my goal. And nowadays, you can easily let somebody down and still end up with a bullet in your head by easily letting them down. So for me, if it means giving a ghost number, Yes, B. She said, or a Google Voice number. Yes, or a Google Voice number, right? I said, if it means giving a ghost number and still smile and say, yeah, oh my God, absolutely, and getting home safely, I'm going to do just that. Just that. I'm going to do just that. Because I know you and I are bigger than that. I know what we got. We talk about everything. I tell you everything. We bigger than that. This is not about nobody's ego. Don't allow ego and pride to get in the way. Because with all due respect, Black women are losing their lives at the hands of guns of Black men at record speed. And you got to understand, when I leave this house, I ask myself, do you want to be a victim today? Do you want to be a victim today? Because I can't fight him off. I can try my best. I can try my best, but I can't fight him off. Because I'm not one of these women out here that think I'm bigger and badder than every dude I meet. I'm not one of those women that think, well, I can take a dude. No, no, baby. We ain't got to debate about this. We ain't got to debate. You can have your beliefs. I'm going to have my belief. But what I'm going to tell you this. What I'm going to tell you is this. I ain't trying to pretend like I'm stronger than a dude. I'm just not one of those chicks. I am not going to try to pretend that I'm stronger than a dude. If I have to fight for my life, I'll fight for my life. But if I can just ease on out the situation, I would. I would. Now, somebody said, wasn't the young lady with her boyfriend? She was. She was. Okay. And like I said, Superstar, I don't know if you was on earlier. Superstar says, wasn't a young lady with her boyfriend. The athlete just couldn't take rejection. I already said that. What about being respectful to the other young man? I already said that. Then he was crying like a baby when he walked to the police car. I already said that. So Superstar Bella, I don't know if you were late or not, but I agree with everything you said. I agree with everything you said. And you're absolutely right. She was with her partner. And what I had said to add on to that story, Super Bella, is I also believe, maybe the boyfriend may have exchanged some words too. Because see, fellas, I just had the conversation with the ladies about sometimes you gotta give a ghost number so you can get out that situation safely. Because nowadays men of all ages. I'm not going to just say 20, 21 years old, because you see in the news 30 something year olds, 40 something year old men, 50 something year old men. People going crazy. People are not acting right. They're not acting right. So if you can ease on out of there, you can ease on out of there by any means necessary. But the same is true for the dude. Now, what do you do, fellas? Y'all tell me what you do. I can tell you what I think, but what do you do, fellas? You with your woman, and here it is. A guy, whether he knows you with the girl, we don't know the situation. We don't know if he was standing with his girl and he was hit on. Sometimes guys can be that bold, but generally speaking, in most situations, not all, in most situations, guys don't really operate like that. They can do that. They can. But in most situations, if you right there with your girl, unless they consider you to be a chump, they're usually not going to do something like that. So we don't know what the situation is. We don't know if she was walking with her cousin somewhere and he tried to holler out at her and she got in the car and told her man that her man got out the car. We don't know what that situation is. We don't know what it was. But what we do know is he was there. And when the shots rang out, he did fire back. We do know that. I don't know all the situations leading up to that. So I'm going to ask the fellas, what do you do in that situation if your girl was to come up to you? And it's funny we had this conversation because I had this conversation with my man. If your girl was to come up to you and tell you that shorty doo-wop over there was trying to hit on her, what do you do? Because let me tell you something. Everybody is different. Everybody's different. And some people ain't wrapped too tight in their minds. But I said to my partner, if I was out and about and I know you somewhere in the vicinity, like maybe I went to the bathroom and somebody tried to holler at me, I'm not telling him. I'm a handle, make it do what it do, right? Make it do what it do. No, thank you. I'm sorry, babe. I'm not here by myself. Have a great day. All due respect. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna sit down at the table. I'm gonna call it a day. Because I don't need to add fuel to the fire. That's just my opinion. Right? I don't try to add fuel to the fire. Because I don't want to see my man in an altercation. Everybody is different. Everybody is different. But you have to ask yourself, at least I ask myself, do you want to be a victim today? So when you start asking yourself those kind of questions, do you want to be a victim today? That will start to help you make some critical thoughts pop up in your head so you can plan accordingly. Almost everything, not all things, but almost everything is avoidable if you really think about it. If you really think about it, what can you avoid? Can you avoid going back to your vehicle and say, this joker tried to hit on me? Especially if you know the words can be exchanged. You don't know what somebody has on their person. You don't know if somebody has a gun on them. You don't know if somebody's going to act nuttier than you. You don't know if somebody's faster on the trigger than you do. You don't know what the situation is going to be. You don't know when somebody's going to pop off on you for something you said 30 minutes ago. Do you want to be a victim today? Somebody asked me, what am I talking about today? I'm talking about the University of Alabama basketball player who is now charged with capital murder. This is a guy who is a junior, or at least was a junior, at the University of Alabama. And he was with his homeboy, that's what I'm going to call him. He was with his homeboy downtown in Alabama on the strip. And allegedly they saw a young lady, a beautiful young lady, who was out and about with their boyfriend, with her boyfriend, her cousin. Now, I don't know when they try to holler at this young lady, I don't know if they knew her man was present. I don't know that. But what I do know is it was believed that she turned down their advances. Shortly after that incident, shots rang out into the car where this young lady was. And a bullet struck her and killed her. The person who was with her, which we believe was her boyfriend, because in the newspaper was unidentified, but we believe it was her boyfriend, fired shots back at those two young men who was firing shots into the car. Fired shots back, striking one of these persons, who then went to the hospital to be treated, while her boyfriend flagged down a police car and let them know that he was just involved in the shooting, let them know that his girlfriend was hit, she's hurt, and let them know he returned fire in self-defense and he believed he struck one of the victims, one of the shooters. These guys went to the hospital to treat themselves for the injury, and that's how they were picked up. So if somebody asked me, what am I talking about today? That's what I'm talking about today. But what I'm saying today is I'm tired. I'm tired. This is another story of a situation that could have been avoided. This is another story who leaves yet again another child without their mother. This is another story who, in a blink of an eye, more young men have thrown their lives away from a senseless crime and is now being charged with capital murder. I'm not going to sit down here and say, oh, well, they shouldn't be charged with capital murder. I'm not going to see, I'm not one of those people. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm not one of those people. See, you may have some people to say, well, that'll make no sense. Had a charge with capital murder, where last week this cat shot this cat and they didn't get charged with cat. I'm not one of those people. I'm going to tell you why I'm not one of those people. Because for me to take that stance when there's a young woman who's dead and a child without their mother, who am I to start arguing about whether they should have capital murder or not? But if we don't care about our lives, if we don't care about our lives, no one else will. We got some work to do. We can't be doing backwards things. I'm not going to sit up here and get mad at somebody having capital murder when you deliberately fire shots into a vehicle, killing a 23-year-old woman. I'm not going to do it. Who am I to disrespect the dead in that way? Who am I? If you don't want to get charged, real talk, y'all, because this was caught on video too. If you don't want to get charged with capital murder, don't pull the trigger. Don't fire into cars. Don't get mad because somebody won't give you their number. Don't start acting like you ordered a bag of chips and like you're not afraid to kill. Let me tell you something. The minute you pull that trigger and you were not within reason, you better be afraid of going to jail, because that's where you're going. So you want me to sit up here and get mad about all of that and somebody is deceased over nonsense? No, I don't get mad at stuff like that. I absolutely do not. I absolutely do not. I don't follow the sheep. I don't follow the herd. See, some people in our community, with all due respect, want to be mad about everything. I want to follow the bouncing ball, because the point is this. For us to get mad at someone having capital murder is to say that that young lady's life wasn't worth it. It's to say that that young lady's life wasn't worth it. You bad enough to pull the trigger. Go do your time, baby. Go do your time. You big and bad. Now you want me to rally for you? I'm not rallying for you. I'll happily sit on the jury and put you away. Go do your time. It's disrespectful, because that 23-year-old is a year younger than my daughter. That could have been my baby. And just like that, her life could be taken from her by saying, no, thank you. Just like that, boom. And that's how we have to start thinking. I tell my children all the time when they leave this house, you need to ask yourself if you want to be a victim. I tell my son, you need to ask yourself, do you like your freedom? Because I know at that age he is, they make hot-headed decisions. You got to ask yourself, do you want to be a victim? You also got to ask yourself, do you like your freedom? Because sometimes our young men associate with people that will put them in jail right along with them. And we got to encourage our children to think critically when they walk out them doors. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, it was 1:45 in the morning, she shouldn't have been outside. I'm not going to sit up here and blame the victim. There are plenty of times that some of us are outside at 1:45 in the morning. We could be coming from a movie theater. We could be coming from work. We could be coming from watching our niece or nephew for a family member and then going home. You don't know. It's people are outside at different hours for different reasons. I'm not going to sit up here and start passing judgment on people as though that would have saved somebody's life. You don't know that. Because there are people who are being shot at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There are people who are being shot at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. There are people who are getting shot around the clock. And that's something that we have to stop doing. We're constantly, well, why were they outside? I don't know why they was outside. We're going to ask the victim why they was outside. How about asking the shooter why you pulled the trigger? This is the nonsense that we do in our community, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. It doesn't change the fact that somebody had a gun in their hand and pulled the trigger. It doesn't change that. It doesn't change it. We got to stop doing these kind of situations. Yes, things can happen more at night. Yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning, those things can happen. But guess what? Have you been checking the news? Because people are getting killed at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So what are you going to say about that? They should have been in the office building at 3 o'clock. Why were they walking outside at 12:45 p.m.? Don't they got a job? What if they was working in the field? Like we gotta stop. We gotta stop. Keisha saying my cousin lost her life in 2020 because a guy thought it was okay to feel her behind and was embarrassed when she slapped the fire out of him, and he shot her. 4 kids without a mom, senseless. I'm sorry to hear about that, Keish. It sounds like a situation that happened in Jersey City, in New Jersey, where she was going to the store and she had her son with her. And a guy violated her by touching her behind, and she went ham on him. He got mad, pulled out a gun, and shot her right in front of her child and killed her. And he touched her behind. Something is seriously wrong here, and he wasn't in his 20s. Oh, Keish, that's her? Oh my God, beloved. I am so sorry, beloved. I am so sorry. I talked about your cousin's case as well. Out of Jersey City. I talked about her as well. Senseless. Senseless. For what? So now we can't, what are we going to say? Well, she should have never told her not to touch her behind. What are we going to say? How about the fact that he keeps his goddamn hands to himself? How about that? Yes, they can play basketball in the penitentiary in Pelicans Bay. They can play basketball all goddamn day now and do some push-up. Spend your time, the rest of your life playing basketball in jail. How fun is that? Have fun. Right here in our community, make sure y'all give Keisha condolences. I know exactly what she's talking about because I followed that case. Right here in the community, being that I'm in Jersey, that case hit close to home. Being that my daughter lives in Jersey City, that hit close to home for me. What do you expect her to do? Turn around and say, please don't touch my behind? That's what you expect her to do? No, we teach our women to stand up for themselves. And now you can't even stand up for yourself because you might lose your life. Something is not right here. Something is not right in our community. Yes, I am. And thank you for trying to say my name. It's Dr. Shonna, not Shannon. But thank you for that. Appreciate it. Yes, I am familiar with cluster B personality. We got more than cluster B personality in our community. We got more than that. Something is not right here. So here's the thing. Right. So here's the thing, y'all. If you think about this situation, this young man was a junior at the University of Alabama. a junior, playing basketball at the University of Alabama. Okay? That means he had one more year of college before he graduated. If he was any good at basketball, he could have potentially had a career in basketball. Now, I don't know if he's good at basketball or not. He might be good at basketball. I don't know. I like football. So y'all gonna have to let me know if he was good at basketball. But oftentimes, we paint the narrative that is the hood boogers outside that are terrorizing our community. Right or wrong? This is the narrative that we paint. Is the ones that wear their pants below their belt, drooping, see their underwears, their boxers, is the ones that ain't got no job. They stay home, live with their mamas, smoking weed, drinking all damn day. They're terrorizing our communities. Is the one that can't read past a third grade education. They're terrorizing our community. Is the ones that are X, Y, and Z. We always paint the worst picture for the people we say are terrorizing our community. But there you go. Sharaja said it, right? I was just about took it out of my mouth. You better start reading my goddamn mind. But evil comes in all shapes and sizes. Evil comes with all education. Evil comes at the white collar job, at the no collar job. Evil comes in the streets, in the boardrooms. Evil comes with the single mom or the married mom. Evil comes with the husband or the boyfriend. Evil comes with the 6-year-old or the 26-year-old. Evil comes in all shapes and sizes. So we have to start looking at things differently. And we have to start saying to ourselves, do I like my freedom? So before you pop off and decide that you're going to take somebody's life, do you like your freedom? Because there is a chance that you might not have your freedom if you make one stupid mistake. Another question you need to ask yourself is, do I want to be a victim today? Because nowadays, evil is running rampant in the streets and no one is safe. So you have to ask yourself these critical questions when you leave your house. We're not going to sit down there and constantly analyze other people. Oh, this person must be suffering from this. Oh, this person must do this because they ain't have a mama. Oh, this person is like this because they ain't have a daddy. I don't give two flying pigs. I don't care. The one question I need to be asking myself is, do I want to be a victim today? Let me tell you something. I go to work every day, and many of my client population are schizophrenics. Many of them have psychosis. Many of them are bipolar 1 with delusion. Many of them have hallucinations. Many of them will pop off on you in 2.5 seconds. You best to believe it. You best to believe it. And I see some people walk through there like, this client better listen to me because I'm the doctor and you the patient. That's how they walk, not me. When I walk through them doors, I ask myself the question, do you want to be a victim today? So when they say, Dr. E, I want to tell you about something, Dr. E is going to listen. Okay, all right, I got you. Okay, You're going to have to stand over there. Yes. Oh, no, 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 no. It's okay. No, no, no. I know you didn't know. It's okay. You're going to have to stand over there because I need my distance. I need my distance. Come in my office. Let's go to the other room because my office ain't safe for escape. We're going to go to another room. Right? You come to my office, or we're going to prop the door open. Unless we having a session, we propping the door open, baby. We propping the door because I don't know what happened to you 2.5 seconds ago before you knocked on my door, and I got to make sure all is good. Because do you want to be a victim today? And that's how y'all should be walking outside, to tell you the truth. Stop walking outside with the chip on your shoulder, with your ego this big. Because somebody's going to be smarter than you. And somebody's going to be faster than you. And somebody's going to look like they got it all together and they got a lot of stuff going on in their head. And you might look like a threat to them. You don't know. You don't know. Somebody could have just gotten an argument 5 minutes ago and they still steaming, and you don't know that. And you made the mistake of saying you got a problem, you good, and that was going to be your last word. That's going to be your last word for the moment. Because you wasn't asking yourself the right questions. Do I like my freedom? And do I want to be a victim today? It's unfortunate that this happened to Miss Jamia Harris. My heart goes out to her family. My heart goes out to her friends. My heart goes out to her boyfriend. My very heart goes out to her son. This did not have to happen. If she wasn't interested, she has a right to say she wasn't interested. Now, I don't know. Y'all gonna have to tell me because I know the streets be talking and y'all be in the streets, so y'all gonna have to let me know. I don't know if her boyfriend felt some kind of way and he puffed up his chest. I don't know that. That could have happened. That could have happened. I can't say it did. What I do know is if there was an advancement toward her, she has a right to say no. And fellas, 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 if she says no, it's no. Okay, she might call you no dirty mother. That's not enough to kill her. She might say to you, anybody want to talk to you? Your breath stink. That's not enough to kill her. She might say, get your dusty ass from mountain front. That's not enough to kill her. It's not enough to kill her. We got to do a lot better. If you are a guy and you know young guys, talk to them. If you a man and you know other men that be saying some crazy stuff, talk to them. Talk to them. Because here's another thing I'm seeing. I'm out of here. Here's another thing I'm seeing. Now, I'm not saying that this is happening, but just as we talk about the video games that kids are watching, just as we talk about the music being toxic for our minds, that's just how we talk about the culture being toxic, and a lot of stuff that's going on in our culture is toxic. I'm going to say this and I'm out of here. I want to know what y'all think. And we ain't got to all agree with each other. It's just a thought that I have. You can share your thoughts as well. But here's what I'm going to think. If you notice, over the last, let's say 3 to 5 years, there's been a lot of toxic commentary that has been happening about the relationships between Black men and Black women. The commentary has been extremely aggressive. The commentary has been belittling. The commentary has been shocking, to say the least. The commentary just feels assaultive in nature, and on both parts. Both parts. I'm not saying men. I'm not saying women. I'm saying both. Both. The commentary has been very unhealthy. I'm also wondering, with a lot of the toxic talk that is out there about Black men and Black women. I'm wondering if it's eroding our thinking, if it's having an effect on our subconscious mind that has us at war with each other, that has us communicating that I'm not going to take it anymore, that has us disrespecting each other, that has us ready, on guard, ready for war. I say that because there's a young lady near the community that I work in, and she engages in conversations with me sometimes. And some of the language that she uses is the same rhetoric, the same thoughts and talks that I hear online about men. She has, what's that terrible female rapper that she came up after Cardi B? So I'm not talking about Cardi B. She is all about F dudes and sticking for their money, and or if she's just disrespectful. She's the newer one. Come on, y'all know her name. Somebody give me her name. Give me her name, because I know y'all know her. I don't know her name, but she, okay, somebody said it. Is that her? Glorilla? No, not Megan. I think it's Glorilla. She, have you listened to some of her music? Her lyrics are disgusting, right? Her lyrics are disgusting with the way she talks about using men and treating men. So there's one young lady that engages me every now and then. Maybe this is it too. Maybe this, I know that, I think they got nasty lyrics too. Maybe it's this person. I don't know, but it's one of them people, F and F or Glorilla. They both sound like familiar, dirty names to me, if you ask me. But nonetheless, she makes the same kind of comments that I hear in this young lady's songs. The mindset is being co-opted. The mindset is being hijacked. I even hear men using the same type of toxic language that I hear other commentary. Or what's that guy? He just got arrested for child molestation. He's a big name, a big guru, and a lot of people, a lot of guys listen to him. He's very toxic. There you go, Andrew Tate. There you go, Andrew Tate, very toxic. I hear a lot of guys mimicking stuff that he says, and other men that are toxic out there as well. I hear a lot of guys mimicking this. I'm wondering if we keep listening. See, we always talk about music, how music is tantalizing, how music is hypnotic, right? We always talk about that. But do we talk about how influencers have the same effect on the minds of people that music does? Do we talk about that? Do we talk about how we have somebody who says the right or the wrong thing in the right way? Maybe they're loud, maybe they're ratchet, maybe they're very aggressive. I noticed that the people who seem to be the most popular have the most aggressive tones, has the most volatile language, and they have the most followings. They have so many people that love them. And when I listen to them, I say, well, how does anyone listen to that? Because it's making my ears hurt. The yelling, the screaming, the demeaning language, the name calling, the belittling, the volume is off. These people are out of control. So I wonder if we listen to these toxic people long enough, we will start to adopt their thinking. We would start to take on their thought process and live it out. So when you think about these kind of things, yes, Def Rock, a low frequency, right? low frequency. When you think about these kind of things and you see the amount of disrespect that goes on between the black man and the black woman, oh my God. When you think about that, I'm wondering if we start to see each other the same way that these voices are telling us we are. And these voices always, these voices always refer to a small little population of people in our community. And they magnetize it. They make it really big. And then we start to think that all women are this way. Let me tell you another reason why I said that. I don't know if you guys do follow me on Instagram, but Instagram is all about relationships. I don't have these kind of conversations on Instagram. Thank you for that, James. James said F and F is her song. So it's the same people. Thank you for that. So now I know. But regardless, the song or her, they're both disgusting. But anyways, I was saying, I posted a reel and I was sharing my women because I do my class. I'm about to start my online classes again. I teach women how to date, how to transform themselves so that they can be successful in their dating. And somebody comes onto my feed, doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. And this is what I mean when I say the thinking. Says, finally, a woman who's in her 40s, no, a woman who's in her 40s, finally getting herself together and taking life real or some stupid stuff. Saying like basically I'm in my 40s, no kids, and it's the first time I got a man like that I'm taking seriously. It's the stupidest thing ever, right? I'm currently back being single. I got 21 years under my belt with marriage. I have adult children. What is he talking about? He just wanted to start something. And when nobody fed him the energy, he had to go away. He had to go away because obviously he doesn't know me. He doesn't know my audience. He doesn't know how I operate. He just wanted to reiterate the same toxic stuff that he has been hearing from other male commentators who say toxic things about women all the time and thought he can make it applicable to me. You cannot, sir. Never in your life. And he never came back. He never came back. And that's when I started to really think about it. I said, yes, William. William says social media is addictive. You're absolutely right. I really started to think about it. And I said, they're just out here. They just want to attack anybody. Like it was such a positive video to help both men and women out. And he just felt the need to come on just to be toxic and aggressive for no reason. Right? Yeah, somebody said, yeah, Doc, I saw that BS comment. You know, he is a miserable soul, right? He just felt the need to be so toxic. And what I noticed is oftentimes I would post something, well, not oftentimes. On Instagram, my whole page is positive. I'll post something out there, and guess what? It's always one person, and I'm not trying to pick on you fellas, but typically it is a male. The toxic women don't come on my page. The toxic women don't gripe with me, right? Because I get at both men and women. They don't come on my page and gripe with me. But the toxic men, they're just so angry. They're so angry, and they try to take the craziest shots. Like, you wasting your energy and your time for what? And I always use those people as examples of who not to date, who not to engage with. And some of them could be dressed up really nicely. It don't matter, ladies. His resume, and it doesn't matter, fellas, her resume, they can be stellar. They can be stellar and they're batshit crazy. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you got to leave by asking yourself, when you leave your house, ask yourself, do I want to be a victim and do I like my freedom? Do I want to be a victim and do I like my freedom? Slow yourself down before you react because it ain't worth it. It's not worth it. That's all I have for you all. Listen, family, I want to see more of y'all. Somebody said, you would think the doctor and Dr. Shonna would include that you weren't basic. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. Let me tell you something. The doctor and Dr. Shonna, for a lot of people in our community, it doesn't matter because they're so disrespectful. They're so disrespectful. And you don't earn your respect by arguing with people. You just correct them. You just correct them. That's it. Not by arguing. You just correct them. And that's it. And they come back on. Once you correct them, they come back on. You can just see the emotional unraveling. Both men and women, you can see the emotional unraveling, and you just leave them right there. Don't go back and forth with them. Leave them right there, because that right there should let you know that that person is not worth your gray matter. That person does not have the intelligence or the wherewithal to even converse with you. They're not worth your time. And I'm not only talking about online, I'm talking about in real life as well. That's how you handle people. The minute people want to get disrespectful and I haven't given them a reason to be disrespectful and you're just disrespectful, I have nothing to say to you, because I asked myself two questions. Do I like my freedom? And do I want to be a victim today? Y'all have a great night.